We should find out next week if the probable 2024 Republican nominee for president will be running as a convicted felon. The trial in New York, most likely the only Trump trial before the election, is our main subject tonight. Joining me at the table, Laura Barone Lopez is the White House correspondent for PBS NewsHour. Eugene Daniels is a White House correspondent for Politico and a co-author of Playbook. Susan Glasser is a staff writer at The New Yorker. And Steve Inskeep is a host of NPR's Morning Edition. First of all, Steve, 20 years, Morning Edition.
Yeah.
You're getting used to it?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm
The
getting
internship is over?
Yeah, that's
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been an honor to do it, really, and you keep getting to talk to all kinds of people. It's really, really amazing.
That's good.
Thank you.
I can't understand how you get up there.
There's nowhere to go with the conversation from there.
I can't. There's no way to go. Yeah, but we're going to go somewhere.
Okay.
I'll tell you where we're going to go. We're going to go to this moment in American political history, not since the Lincoln-Douglas debates have we had a moment this elevated and enervating. I want you to watch this scene from the Capitol that came last night.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what
ain't nothing.
Hold on.
That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack
meeting will
the
suspend,
physical
meeting will
appearance of another
suspend.
person?
Are your
Move
feelings hurt?
her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play. with
Baby
me.
girl? I don't think
We are
so.
going to move, and we're going to take your words down.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad-built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Oh, what now is right. Oh, what now is right. First of all, I just need to establish some rules here. Washington Week is not Congress. We are going to be civil here. And I'm looking at you, Glasser, okay? I'm looking at you. But, you know, we're not going to go to that depth. So here's the thing that I wanted to ask you all about. It's like, that is obviously an entertaining moment. It's also appalling. I mean, Steve, you've been thinking about these kind of issues
It's not
since 1860s.
Since the 1860s, me personally.
You
that's
personally
how long
have
I've been
been
hosting
thinking
Morning
about
Edition.
this.
It's not terribly surprising, given the climate that we're in, and if you think about what they're arguing about. They're arguing there about the rules of Congress. You're not supposed to engage in personal attacks. There's even a very old-fashioned word that was used in the debate, personalities, by which they don't mean Jeff Goldberg's sparkling personality. They mean personal attacks. You're not supposed to engage in them. Representative Jasmine Crockett even is asking in that hypothetical question, would it be a personality if I were to say this terrible thing that all begins with B's? And she's asking that question, and you're not supposed to do that. The reason you're not supposed to do that is A, in the old days, you could end up fighting a duel, but B, in more modern times, you might sometimes need to cooperate with the other person on the other side, so you attack the issue and not the person. And the reason that I say that it's relevant now, or not surprising terribly now, is because in the House of Representatives, what's the point? There are very few occasions where some members seem to be inclined to work with the other side and seem to think that there's any point in it, so why not launch on somebody's eyebrows?
And I think it's also important to state, like, where it started. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene made the insulting comment about Jasmine Crockett, which is why then Representative Ocasio-Cortez was asking about, can we have that stricken from the record?
Because it's inappropriate.
Right, because it's inappropriate, and that tends to what happen when another lawmaker does engage in a personal attack, then it'll be struck from the record, and then it devolved from there.
Right. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene such an outlier in Congress, or is she just a manifestation of a larger devolution? I don't know what you would call it.
I think she's the obvious continuation, right? Like, this is something that we've been seeing, and people learned from Donald Trump that you can kind of say whatever you want and nothing matters. And she probably does it maybe the best, I guess, if you're gonna say it. Like, she's the one that gets away with it the most. Most people don't. And I think Comer doesn't know how to control her. No one knows how to control.
Comer was the chairman.
Comer
who was
the
a bit
there.
flummoxed.
What was his quote again? A what now?
A what now?
Yeah.
A what now? Yeah.
No
The new
one-
name of our show.
Exactly.
A what now?
That's the YouTube edition.
Yeah.
You don't have Mike Johnson who's able to control her, right? As much as everyone's
Right.
supposed to be doing that when they're in leadership. And so she is kind of an outlier, but a continuation of what was kind of already happening.
Susan?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, we have a long way. They have not reached the floor, let's say, of congressional behavior. It was back in the 19th century that Charles Sumner, the senator, was caned on the floor of the United States Senate.
Almost beaten to death.
Yeah, exactly. And
So no one has yet been
we-
caned in this
You know,
century,
we
that
have
is-
seen the world's
I think
most
George
creative
W.
use
Bush
of
would call
baby
this
girl
the,
as an insult.
George W. Bush would call that the soft bigotry of low expectations.
Exactly. Well, we have a ways
on.
to go in our national devolution, but I do think that this is representative of a new way in which our politics is going to be mediated going on. Institutions are unraveling, not just the institution of the U.S. Congress. In fact, you see the Trumpification, arguably, of the Senate Republican Conference, where the traditions have held up of cross-aisle civility much stronger up until more recently. I think that this is, we can, and we'll talk more about the Supreme Court, we're seeing not only the hyper-politicization of our institutions, but a kind of constant playing to the crowd, to the cameras, to the social media. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is a very effective example of this strand in our politics. It's not going to go away.
Let's